Hey everybody, it's your lovely Lotus Blossom Lizzie, and today I'm going to show you how I have been composting in place. Keep in mind, this video was shot probably a few months ago, but I'm just getting around to showing you. So if you want to see what the plants look like in these containers now, you can check out the garden tours for the 9B garden, or you can just check out the garden diaries, which I post every week. And you can see here, these are the 17-gallon totes where I have my peppers. And if you've been watching my channel, you know how big my peppers are growing. So I'm going to talk to you in a moment about composting in place and how easy it is. And I've been doing it and I had pretty good success. And again, nothing has died and everything is really flourishing. So stay tuned and I'll tell you how I set this up. And I'll give you some close-up shots as well. What you saw me doing earlier is composting in place. And I actually got this idea from Robbie and Gary's garden. And I love watching their stuff, y'all. They got a lot going on in their garden, but she has some really smart ideas. And so when I started setting up my garden this year, I set it up very purposefully. And I decided to try to do some composting in place to see how it would work out. So let me show you close up kind of what they look like. So in these 17-gallon buckets, I thought this was like the perfect place to kind of do an experiment. And I know you shouldn't put like hot compost or really fresh compost on your plants, but I thought it would be a good experiment. And I've done this from the beginning and my plants seem to be happy. Now, I don't know if they're growing better without the compost or not. That I couldn't tell you, but nobody's dying and the compost is breaking down. So I'm not gonna open up any of these, but I'll give you kind of a close-up of how they're set up. So we have the big container and then I have two smaller containers here. This container is housing a jalapeno plant and they've been growing just fine. I've been getting jalapenos off. As a matter of fact, I have one here that I need to take off, and underneath inside the second one is where I'm putting my compost. So as you can see, it's a pretty simple setup, nothing spectacular. I'm just kind of like layering the pots in pots, and the compost is breaking down and nothing is dying. And so that compost is actually feeding all of the plants that are in its ecosystem, basically. So here in my trunks, I also set the same kind of system up. So if you see here, I have a pot and there's a second pot. There's actually two pots here. So in between these pots is where I'm putting the compost. So it's very easy for me to pick this pot up, not with one hand though, but I can pick it up and set it out the way and put compost inside of it. So I guess the only thing you would have to be aware of is like how big of a plant you put in here, because the roots may make it so that you can't take the top pot out, if that makes sense. And as you can see, everything in this ecosystem is doing fine and it has compost in it. Here's my second one, and you can see this one a bit better. And the only thing that I'm using are some of the pots that came from the nurseries. So I always save those, and sometimes my neighbors give me those as well. So I find the pots that will fit in kind of not too snugly with each other. So what I'm doing is attempting to use pots that are similar to each other so that they'll fit in kind of snugly, because what I don't want is a bunch of flies and maggots around. However, it probably won't hurt anything if the flies and maggots are in there. They'll just add maggot poop to the whole system, so that's fine as well. So here are a few more. So I have them here in my beans. You can see here, so that's a calendula growing in there, and it's actually a 2-pot system. So let's see. And you can see inside there, actually, I had some compost in there, and it is breaking down. So I have another one here that has a marigold in it. I know it's hard to see because these plants are going crazy right now. And I don't have them in all of them yet because I ran out of small pots, which you can see. And then these back here, they don't have it. And they're newer plants as well, so that's why they're smaller. And as you can see, my bean plants are doing quite well, and they are starting to produce beans also. So it's a pretty simple system. It's not much to it, but I felt like it was a revolutionary idea. And again, I got that from Gary and Rob and Gary's garden, and they're in California, and she comes up with some pretty cool ideas. And so I'll probably be doing that throughout the garden. Right now I just have those few spots, and that's where I've been putting my trash basically. And hoping for the best, but nothing's dying and everything's breaking down and everything seems to be happy. So I would love to know, what do you all think about this idea, and have you tried something similar to putting the pots? Now I'm in containers, so I know some people kind of layer their beds up with the compost. So I'm interested in both because, you know, people read the comments. All right, you all, we'll see you on the next video, Garden Tools. Bye.